This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. And today we are looking at some brand new bikes that have been launched and some that haven't been launched yet, with a new super lightweight Scott Addict RC launched just today, an amazing steel road bike from Colnago, a Pinarello Dogma F that more people can afford, possibly, and Factor might be launching a brand new aero bike very soon. So let's dive in and we'll start with the Scott Addict RC. Well, finally a bike company have responded to the gauntlet thrown down by Specialized with crazy lightweight Tarmac SL8. The new Scott Addict RC has a claimed frame weight of just 640 grams, which is 45 grams lighter than a Tarmac, so pretty impressive. And the Addict is a whopping 300 grams lighter as a frame set than the current Addict launched back in 2020, which is very impressive too. And the company claims a top-end build is down to 5.9 kilograms. So how on earth have they achieved such a weight saving? Well, the company says in its press blurb, and I'm quoting here, it developed a new unique carbon molding technique to create a completely hollow frame with no dead end tube segments. So it's about reducing unnecessary carbon fiber and producing a smooth, clean interior inside the frame with no wrinkles or creases and removing as much excess resin as possible. So it does sound pretty impressive, but it would be amazing to get a closer look at the process itself. So Scott, if you want to do a factory tour, give me a call. Anyway, some more details on the new bike, and we have tire clearance for up to 34mm wide rubber. The geometry has been tweaked as well to provide agile handling for tight cornering and quick steering maneuvers. I'll dive into that in a future video when I get my hands on the bike, hopefully. And comfort has been considered too, with a new seat post and seat clamp design to promote more flex around the saddle. The handlebar is still one piece and internal routing as before, but it's lighter to tune of 40 grams. And even the computer mount, the out front mount, has gone on a diet as well, and it's claimed 70% lighter than the old one. So real marginal gains there indeed. And following Canyon's lead on the air road, all the bolts across the frame, the hardware, are T25, and there's a tall stash of weight inside the handlebar as well. Now, Scott has formed when it comes to lightweight carbon race bikes, because back in 2007, hands up if you remember the bike, the original Addict was the lightest production carbon frame the world had ever seen, with a frame that weighed 790 grams, still light by today's standards, making a 6 kilo build very possible indeed. And back then, the top end flagship bike was £7,000, which I remember at the time, working for Road Cycling UK, being an eye-watering price indeed. And that price, adjusted for inflation in today's money, is £11,500, which is roughly the price of a modern top-end bike. Talking of prices, the new bike costs from $5,000 and goes all the way up to $15,000, which is definitely a punchy price indeed. So the new Scott Addict RC looks light and it looks fast. And you know what else is fast? Building a website with Squarespace, today's sponsor. Utilizing AI, the blueprint makes it quick to build a professional looking website personalized for your very needs, by simply answering a few questions to transform your brand's online presence. So if you're a bike shop or a bike brand wanting an online store, with Squarespace payments, it's easy to set up and manage payments in one place online. Or if you want to sell custom merch, you can do that through Squarespace as well. Or anything is possible. Start an online gallery, a blog, share videos, and much more with Squarespace. There are endless opportunities to build a website for any purpose on Squarespace. And you can find out just how easy using Squarespace is with a free trial link down below, and also get 10% off your first purchase with my discount code on screen right now. Right, on to the next shiny bike in today's video, the Colnago Steelnovo. Regular viewers will know I do like a steel bike and I own a few steel bikes. So news of Colnago's revival of the material in the brand new Steelnovo was exciting news for me indeed. Metal bikes, titanium and steel are going through a really interesting and exciting period right now, with 3D printing or forged lugs and internal routing giving the classic material a very modern makeover. And that's definitely the case with a brand new Steelnovo. A frame made entirely in Italy and features 3D printed lugs and joints connecting the Columbus tubes to create possibly the prettiest Colnago I've seen in a long time. I mean, I love my C68, but I do like that appearance of the Steelnovo very much indeed. And there are other modern details as well, like a T47 bossing bracket, SRAM UDH dropouts, and full internal routing with the same handlebar as on the C68 and the V4RS. And it's disc brake only, there's no rim brake version I'm afraid guys, and it's electronic group sets only as well. I do like the fact there's space for 35mm wide tyres on the bike, more than the V4RS and C68, and the same actually as my Scarab Santa Rosa. And that, I'm sure, will be a nice head-to-head comparison test. Colombian versus Italy steel superbike shootout has a nice ring to it, so I'll see what I can do. The geometry is also very similar to the C68 and the V4RS as well. So very much a race bike at heart, even though it's perhaps unlikely anyone will race a bike. So with that in mind, and considering the price tag of £15,500 for a full bike here in the UK, perhaps a more endurance-focused fit might have made more sense for the target customer for this bike. That price includes a Campag Super Record wireless group set, and you see my first look on that group set linked above in that pop-out card, with Bora Ultra WTO wheels, lovely set of wheels those, and Pirelli tyres. From one expensive Italian road bike to an Italian road bike that perhaps more people can afford. This brand new F1 from Pinarello is the company's entry-level road bike, entry-level in their range of course. It costs £3,000 and you essentially get a frame that looks the same as the Dogma F top-end flagship race bike, with all the crazy curves and sculpture shape of the fork and frame and full internal routing. The geometry is also the same as that flagship Dogma, so very much a race bike, but the bike will be heavier than that bike because of the lower grade carbon used in the construction of the frame. But the company has shared no frame or bike weight, so I have no idea how much it actually weighs. And Pinarello frames are never the lightest in the world. Even the top-end Dogma F is 865 grams for a size 56. It's not super lightweight, not compared to Addict RC we talked about earlier. And to hit the price point, they use a mechanical Shimano 105 disc brake group set, which I'm a big fan of. You can see my review of the group set linked above in that pop-out card. So this bike is essentially for the person who really wants a Pinarello race bike, but can't afford or doesn't want to justify the £15,000 for a top-end model. But whether there's a market for a low-end Pinarello Dogma remains to be seen. Because at this price point, I think the cyclist, the consumer buying a bike, really wants the best bang for buck, the most equipment they can get, the best value for money they can hope to achieve. And a Canyon Ultimate with the same group set is 500 quid cheaper, and it's a great bike as well. Or how about this for a bargain? The Boardman SLR 8.9 with the same group set is £1,750. So two bikes that really undercut the Pinarello. You could argue the Pinarello has more brand appeal, more brand kudos, but you are paying a premium for the Pinarello name on a down tube compared to the Boardman and the Canyon. So it's a good effort by them to produce a cheaper, more attainable, more accessible bike that does from a distance look the same as the Team Ineos Grenadier race bike, but whether the price is good enough, strong enough to tempt people away from other options in this very competitive price point remains to be seen. And lastly, proof perhaps that the pure aero race bike isn't dead with a move towards lightweight aero all-rounders like Trepidone and the Specialized Tarmac, because Factor has teased a brand new road bike on their Instagram account, which is launching next month. There's a very smoky, arty image on Instagram, and it looks to me like the Austro van, but that bike only launched earlier this year, so it can't be that bike. So maybe it's actually the rebirth of the One, which was discontinued a few years ago. That was their pure aero race bike, and had a really cool full-length fork from the dropouts up to the stem. And you can't see from this smoky image if that fork remains on the bike, but the main giveaway for me that it's not the Austro fan and perhaps a new One are the shape and the depth of the rear stays. They're much deeper than the skinny stays on the Austro van, so that points for me to a bigger focus on aero from the bike, and also the wheels are very deep section as well. So I can't wait to see if this new bike is as radical as the one, which goes right back to the original Factor launched by ex-F1 people back in 2014, and a bike I rode and tested at Road CC back then, and still the most expensive bike I've ever crashed on the Waitrose roundabout in Cirencester. An amazing bike with a split down tube and that one piece full length fork. Phenomenal performance. So hopefully the new one, if it is the new one, is as radical as that bike, but I probably doubt it will be as extreme. So those are the hot new bikes doing the rounds right now. Let me know what you think of the new Pinarello, Scott, Colnago, and the Factor by dropping a comment down below. And if you want to see some other amazing bikes worth checking out, do watch the video right here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button right here. And if you need a new website, Squarespace, link down below, free trial, 10% off your first purchase, definitely worth checking out. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon.